Hello, lovely people. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are. It's Hila here, Saturday Night Stitch. We're having a lovely Easter weekend. The sun is out, so I'm outside taking some air. You know, as one does when one has a chest infection, fresh air is good for you. And also because of the coronavirus lockdown, we don't have as much pollution around. So it actually does feel like it is fresh air. And we live near a major road. So, it's kind of cool, actually. But anyway, so today, my video, I wanted to take 5 because it's kind of a little bit special. It is my last KnipMode subscription magazine. So I've decided that I'm not going to continue with the subscription for KnipMode as well as Burda because I've gone down the vintage Burda sewing rabbit hole where I'm loving vintage magazines. So I've been collecting those like a drunken sailor. And I don't seem to get round to sewing as much with KnipMode as I would like to. So for the time being, I've decided to put a hold on the subscription. And what I will do is I will be buying an issue as and when I see something that I really like in the issue. Because I still do love them. I thought about whether I'm going to sell them and get rid of my collection. But I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I still browse through them when I'm looking for inspiration to sew with a particular fabric. So I'm not sad about this decision. I'm actually really excited about it, because it means that I will get to be like the other people who don't have Burda subscriptions and they just buy the issue as and when they do that. So I get to do that with KnipMode because I'm not a KnipMode completist. I'm a Burda completist, but not so much a KnipMode completist. So we're going to do the browse through for this. And this was actually a really good issue, I thought, in my opinion. And so if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe, because I put out sewing related content. It's a lot of random stuff, somehow tangentially related to sewing. Remember to hit the like button. And you may also want to turn on your notifications, because I've noticed that with some of the other channels that I subscribe to, I'm not getting notification. The YouTube algorithm isn't actually putting their new videos up on my feed. And I read that that's a thing. And that's why it's a good idea to turn on notifications. Otherwise, it's only the YouTube algorithm choosing what to put in front of you. But if you turn on notifications, you get to see your subscriptions show up whenever they post something new. And I do post out new stuff every week or so. Okay, so let's get into KnipMode April 2020. This was my birthday month issue. And I gotta say, it didn't disappoint me, unlike Burda. But never mind. Right, here we go. So nice shirt dress on the cover using what likely looks like a cotton poplin. You've got beige and then you've got the orange accents. Normally not a big fan of beige or creams, but I do like this pale orange accent that they have used. Okay, right. Great color blocking. So this is from last month's issue where they're talking a little bit more about that. I gotta say, the more I see stuff like this, especially in the fashion shows, I'm kind of like trying to think, oh, I'd love to do an Edwardian style blouse. A little bit off topic there. And the contents page, right. So off the bat, we've got a lovely looking jumpsuit. It's off shoulder, but it's also got some little straps that can cover your bra straps if you're bothered about showing your bra strap. Used a well-structured fabric here because you can see how it maintains this pleat here. I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to say that when you pressed trousers, you needed this to be so sharp it could cut a fly in half. So when I saw this, it just reminded me of that, being a kid and having to learning how to press trousers so that you have the pleat right up there. So yeah, great use of contrasting fabrics, and I think that if you are going to make this, it would be nice to do it in the way that they have done it. So fantastic. I love KnipMode for that. They do inspire me to do a lot more color blocking. And then you've got an image of it actually in a blue and a white thing. Personally, I prefer the brighter color myself. Okay, and then we've got, I like to call this the mother of the bride, or the Queen Elizabeth, because here in the United Kingdom, we're lucky enough to still have a queen who is part of our public life. And this is something that I would picture her wearing at some point. So not for me, but maybe when I'm a centenarian, I'd be interested in that. And then also I thought it was a cool feature. It clearly has got an elasticated waist right there. But when you look at it, this looks so high quality, so luxe. You wouldn't expect it to have an elasticated waist, yet an elasticated waist is probably a lot more comfortable. So I thought that was a nice juxtaposition, having something so clearly elegant and classy, but you've got an elasticated waist to it. And you've got the jacket there with double welt pockets. I'm not sure that these are functional, if I have to be perfectly honest with you, because looking at the proportions here, this doesn't look like it's deep enough to hold anything apart from maybe a lipstick tube. So yeah, I don't like how the skirt, this particular skirt, looks in this fabric. It just looks way too plain for my liking. Okay. And then we've got animal prints. I'm loving animal prints a lot lately, and I quite like this just because it's an animal print. It just jumped out at me. And then when I looked at the structure, the bones of it, right? Nice ruffles. I thought that that's quite an interesting thing. I haven't seen this sort of use of ruffles going vertically down and also down the sleeve line. And I thought that was actually quite nice. And I pinned this as something that I would be interested in making. And then you've got a picture of somebody actually wearing it, but it's in a gray fabric, and the styling on this for me is really off. I mean, like, I don't think this hat goes particularly well with it. I wouldn't have done it that way. And I feel like the hair is also, like, it would have been better so much if the hair had been pinned up, and this belt just doesn't work for me. But I think if you take off the hat and the hair, the hat and the belt, pin up that hair, that would have worked so much better. And maybe gone like with pink shoes just to create an accent. But I wasn't put off by it. And clearly the difference between this dress and this one is that this one's got a center front button placket here. But I like that. I really do like that. Okay, and then we've got looks like they've used like a taffeta fabric. Oh no, that's the inspiration picture. My bad. That's the inspiration picture, and this is what KnipMode have done to interpret it. I don't like this. I normally am a big fan of wide leg trousers, but I don't like that. Can't quite put my finger on it. The peplum top, that has got a lot of nice potential, not with the fabrics that they have used though. Personally, it's a little bit hard to see whether this is a curved seam or not. The line drawing is saying that it's straight, but the picture is telling me something different. I would love to see what the KnipMode sewing community is going to produce with this before I can make my mind, so I reserve judgment on that one over there. And then we've got that shirt dress again, and this is packed full of nice little details. If you like to sew things with, you know, just a little bit more detail. So first off, you've got these lovely turn-up cuffs that are purely ornamental, but you use a contrasting fabric that just looks really pretty. It adds a really luxe element to it. And then you've got the belt loops. Now, the disadvantage of belt loops can be great for keeping your belt in place, but at the same time it means that the dress can't be complete without a belt, so that can be a little bit problematic. And you kind of have to think about, how do you wear your belts? Are you religious about wearing your belts, or you like the flexibility of being able to add a belt when you want to and when you don't want to? And generally, if you're like me, I like the flexibility of being able to wear a belt when I feel like it and not. I tend to skip out belt loops so that the outfit can still look complete without the belt. Because the problem is, if you've got a visible belt loop and you're not wearing the belt, it looks like, oh, where's the belt? And certainly for me anyway, I felt like that was problematic. But I do like how they've used the belt loops here, though it has made it an integral part of the dress itself. Another great feature about this pattern is the covered button placket. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I've made a shirt dress or a shirt and I've had the covered button placket, it just takes it onto another level, because there's just something so nice about it. And you also don't have to worry about matching buttons because they're covered over. It's extra work. It's a lot of extra work, especially to create a nice button placket, but it is worth it if you want your shirt to just take it up to that level of luxe. So I think that this is a great pattern to have in your repertoire. Plus, with the addition of these really funky belt loops, I think that this pattern makes this issue worth it. And then they've added shaping with just these pleats here. So it's not, it's where you'd find your dart normally, but it hasn't sewn up as a dart. It's been sewn up as a pleat. And you could have fun by making these in a contrasting color as well. Like they could have made these in the orange that they used for the cuffs, and it would have been fun. But I love that, love it. I think that was a good issue, good pattern. And then over here, we've got a Mother of the Bride outfit. I'm quite surprised that they didn't go and have fun by playing around with the contrasting panels here. It's a bit of a shame because that could have really played it up. I think it's a nice, simple fitted dress pattern that you'd let the fabric shine with that. And then you've got the lace overdress overcoat that you put over there. I'm not a big fan of these. You know, personally, I think that overcoats need to be functional. If I'm going to be wearing an overcoat, it's because I'm cold and I need it to keep me warm. So it's not going to be lacy and holey, basically. But that's my own personal take on it. Okay, and then we've got the gigantic loose. I like to think of these as Japanese style shirt dresses, because if you've ever looked at the Japanese sewing magazines, they really like to go for these voluminous, oversized looks, but they've got excellent tailoring. And we have that here. Choice of fabric, I am not a big fan of, but when I look at the structure and bones on the line drawing, I quite like the look of it. It also sort of reminds me of the jacket from the previous issue that was also quite voluminous. It had this trapeze A-line skirt. It's got a high-low hem. I'm a big fan of the high-low hem. And this was another one that I was like, you know what? I would love to make this, you know, and I'd make it in an art gallery fabric, cotton poplin, and it would just be popping. And apparently it also turns out it's available in the nippy, which is like the kids ones. And it looks like it's got a relaxed fit on the shoulder, because you can kind of see here the shoulder seam is a little bit drop shoulder. But yeah, overall, great style and bones. Not a big fan of the fabric that they have used today. If they had used like a navy, even just a plain navy, this would have been like a really outstanding pattern. So let's see what's, yeah, so these are all available in the entire size range, which is another thing that KnipMode is pretty awesome for. And then we've got the dress with Yanis. Hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. Okay, so this dress line drawing looks really great. It looks very interesting. I love the flounces at the sleeve. I love the flounces at the hem, and you've got those little flounces at the yoke. Execution on here leaves a lot to be desired. Okay, this fabric, I don't think that this is the best fabric for this style of dress. I wouldn't have gone with something that's so swirly that would hide those flounces. And it's yellow and gray. Oh, my goodness, fabric choice is so important, especially when you're trying to sell your pattern, when you're trying to show the potential of your pattern. Fabric choice is so very important. And then they've got it against a white background, you know. Oh yeah, but the bones of this pattern, they look really nice. V-neck, very bohemian in style, you know, because you've got the maxi length, and then you've got the long fluttery sleeves, and you also have these ruffles and the tie ends just dropping. It's got a very boho feel to it, and they've chosen a very non-boho fabric, so it kind of really doesn't work for me. But I would still give this a chance because these look really nice, except for I would take off this pleating and ruffling on the waist. I personally prefer to keep waists as minimal as possible, unless if you're adding a peplum. But then a peplum is exaggerating your waist as well, so I don't quite like this bit here. But great pattern. So So far, there's already 3 things that I'm definitely interested in making. And then we've got that dress again. It was in an animal print before, but this time it's like in a dotty ditzy print. And it still looks lovely. And even though they've used a fabric that's got a wrong side, whereas with the animal print, right side and wrong side both looked similar. So you weren't seeing you weren't really seeing the reverse of the fabric. You just got the impression of the ruffles. With this one, you can actually see the movement. So yeah, again, saw the second iteration of it in a different fabric and I still love it. She's always good because it reinforces your decision. I also liked this. I thought that this was a good take on athleisure. And yeah, so it's got the raglan sleeves and they're curved and it's very comfortable. And I like how they've styled it with the trainers. And I think that this could be a very popular pattern. It's loose fit, so people don't really have to worry about trying to shape it and do like FBAs and things like that. And you can really have a lot of fun with those sleeves by using contrasting sleeves or by just using a racer stripe. You don't need to go with the pleated thing that they've added on there. This is going to be a popular one. And then we've got the sort of sailor front trousers, but with elastic waist. And they've made them as culottes. I reserve judgment. I need to see another one of this. I like the fabric that they've used for this pussy bow blouse. Personally, I do like pussy bow blouses, but I kind of think if you're going to put a bow on there, make it a bow, make it huge, make it voluminous, go full on 70s with it. You know, not just a teeny tiny one like they've done here, but the fabric is pretty dope. We've got some stuff. And then there are the line drawings. You can see all of the styles that are available on it. One great thing about KnipMode is that they do have a variety of patterns in there. So it isn't, you don't get a lot of the same pattern that's being cut into a top, cut into a skirt or whatever. They do try and have different patterns, which is one of the other frustrating things about Browsethrough. And you've got your those pattern sheets. This is the weakest point for me with KnipMode, the fact that the pattern sheets are only in black and red. And yeah, you can use erasable highlighters to try and help you with it, but it can be a little bit off-putting because it doesn't feel like it's an easy one bam. Thank you, ma'am. And one thing that they did with this issue that they haven't done before is they've started adding little color pictures within the instructions. Thought that was a nice thing. I like it when companies evolve their offering. It's a pretty good thing. Okay, more patterns now. We've got a simple top with an asymmetrical side seam. So the side seam, instead of going straight down, it sort of curves towards the front. And this can be quite flattering. There is a McCall's pattern that is quite similar that I have made, and I like it. I made it in a light blue. It kind of looks like hospital scrubs, but never mind. And we've got a drop shoulder relaxed fit. Again, this is going to be another popular one. And it's got darts for fitting. So it's relatively simple to make. It's just 2 pattern pieces and it's been finished off with a bias binding on the neckline and on the sleeves. But you can see they're very, very simple and very easy to make. Full step-by-step lessons there. We've got a simple dress, which is very reminiscent of some of the 1950s dresses. Not too much of a big fan. And for the first time in quite a while, we've got a men's sewing pattern. I think back in 2017, they were trying to put a men's sewing pattern in almost every issue, at least one, but they haven't been doing that much lately. But here we go. Men's sewing pattern. It's in gray. I guess the only interesting thing is that they've added this little tab thingy with a D-ring. Because, you know, you might want to dangle your keys off of the side of your shoulders to highlight your bicep. I don't know. I wouldn't do this, personally speaking. Stripe, yes. D-ring, nope, not so much. But yeah, simple sweatshirt. It's nice to have that in a magazine so you can trace it off for whenever you want to make something for the males in your life. Okay, so we've got some nautical themed fashion here because it's all red, black and white. those culottes again in the red, and they have put what looks like a grosgrain or some sort of a ribbon that's blue and white stripe. It's a bit too costumey for my liking. Yeah, but that's okay. And then we've got that top again with the pussy blow with the understated bow paired up with that. Those wide leg trousers again. I prefer them in the solid color, to be perfectly honest with you. And we've got a really cute top here with these asymmetrical princess lines, and then there's a volant that's been added to it. It's got a neat bias bound finish, and these are very nice and minimalistic, and you could easily do it without the volant, and you could have a really nice top there. And we've got the culottes that have been turned into shorts, and we've got a button front long skirt with pockets. Yeah, so overall so far a good showing. I feel like this has been a solid issue. Okay, lovely sweatshirt again, raglan sleeves, and there's the buttons that are on there, and you could really make a huge feature of those buttons. They chose not to. They've just got navy blue buttons on there, but you could really have some popping buttons if you wanted to. And we've got a variation on a shirt dress with a shearing at the waistline. And I like this. I am oddly attracted to this, and I think that this could be something special. It's very similar to what Berda did in February 2018. They've got a shirt dress with a sheared waist, but instead of an A-line full skirt, it sort of goes straight down. In fact, I have the pattern traced out. I just have to have time to make it. Just have to make time to make it. And I like how they show what the same pattern looks like in the different size ranges. So you've got the curvy model, right? And that looks fabulous. It's a really great fitting dress. And then we've got this top here, which has been made in different fabrics. No, it hasn't been made in different fabrics. Sorry, my bad. So we have a top here that has got a sheer opening and a little sheer neck thingy at the back. It's not jumping out at me like I really want to make that. I haven't yet gotten into working with sheer fabrics and contrasting fabrics. I think I should put that one down on my something to try list. I really like the V-neck on this t-shirt. I think that V-necks are very, very flattering. I certainly like them very much, and I definitely make that. I like the little twist detail on the elbow length tops. I think that if you wanted a t-shirt that was just a little bit more than a t-shirt, like a smart t-shirt, is there such a thing, a smart casual t-shirt versus a casual t-shirt? This is definitely a pattern to look at. And you've got a pleated sleeve top here, which has got this interesting pleat at the shoulder. I do that. I definitely would do this. Contrasting fabric here though, so that, you know, makes my shoulders look broader than they already are. Okay, again, that sweater dress, but this time it has been hemmed in at the bottom to create more of a cocoony style dress. Great fabric choice. I think that the fabric choice works for that. It makes it doesn't look like athleisure on this one. It actually looks like you could look, you know, you could go for a lunch date with someone in that. It's pretty fab. Okay, and then we've got like an overcoat, an overdress, and it looks like it's got really good fitting. The tailoring on it is impeccable. You can see how this curved seam is just perfectly joining up to the skirt bit. I would love to have a go at making these flowers, because one of the things that I do want to try and add more of is couture elements to the things that I make, and they've used hook and eyes. I don't like the use of the hook and eye fastening, and you can see it. It just reminds me of, I don't know, waist trainers or bras, you know, those old-fashioned bras that have got those old-fashioned hook and eyes. Yeah, I don't like that. I think it would have been better to use buttons or a covered over zipper. I like what they've done with the edges here. I can't tell whether that's a trim or they've taken advantage of the fabric and they've just, you know, ruffled the fabric. But yeah, quite like that. It's got some good structural bones to it. And so there we have it. That is KnipMode April 2020. And I couldn't have been happier with this issue. At least 4 items that I definitely want to make from this. You know, time. If time was unlimited, it was limitless time. And, you know, I had all the time in the world to sew. But I'm definitely happy with this. But like I said, even though I will be canceling the subscription itself, which, by the way, has increased in price. Okay, so one of the other reasons that I'm actually not renewing the subscription and deciding to go on a month-by-month basis is that the price has increased. So I got an email from KnipMode about 6 weeks ago. I think it was about 6 weeks ago. Yes, definitely. It was before the coronavirus lockdown, basically saying that they've increased the subscription cost. And if I wanted to continue the subscription, I had to pay it. And it had nearly doubled. No, not nearly doubled, but increased by something like 50%, which I was a bit like, oh no. I could manage it when it was under 100 euros, but more than 100 euros per year, I was like, I can't afford that, especially since I'm not sewing with them as much as possible, as much as I possibly could do. So that's why I'm moving over to a month-by-month basis where I'll decide if this is what I want, or I'll get the PDF, because they also do PDF patterns for all of their for all of the things that they have in the magazine. So yeah, so I think that this was a really good issue, and it definitely it was a nice back end to the end of my subscription, which is always a really nice feeling. And I don't know, maybe if I don't know, once Brexit has been sorted and they figured out what the postage prices are going to be, because I have a feeling it's got something to do with Brexit, the increase in the subscription fee itself, or maybe somebody is going to start distributing them in England and it will be cheaper. I don't know. But for now, I'm happy to be going over to the month-by-month subscription. Not subscription, month-by-month. So I hope that you've enjoyed the video, and if you did, you give it a big thumbs up down below. If you haven't already, do subscribe. I put out sewing related content every single week. So as they say in YouTube parlance, smash that subscribe button, smash it, and you might also want to turn on your notifications, because I think I already mentioned that at the beginning. But now it's your turn. Let me know. What did you like from this issue? Do you agree with some of my opinions about what's good and what isn't good from this issue? Let me know in the comments box down below. And until I see you next time, good people, keep safe, stay well. And if you are getting up to some sewing, happy sewing. Bye. Separately, this is a Berda top. It's Berda 9 2014. So it's got a really wide neckline. It's a little bit annoying, but that's okay. I can show a bit of shoulder when it's sunny. And then these are Berda leggings.